For all of my fellow hardcore PlayStation gamers out there, you may remember when the original Crash Team Racing brought our beloved orange marsupial to the racing scene. Now we know that the late 90s were full of Mario Kart ripoffs, but Naughty Dog's rendition of this racing formula has been regarded as one of the best kart racing games of all time. And as a side note, this was the last Crash Bandicoot game that Naughty Dog worked on before moving on to titles like Uncharted and The Last of Us. So, when it was announced that Beanox was working on a remastered love child between Crash Nitro Kart and Crash Tag Team Racing, I knew this was a game I had to get the platinum for. How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today, staying happy, healthy, and safe, most importantly. Now, I know guys, it has been a really long time since I've posted a Platinum Experience video. Over a year. But I promise you, I am back. I have more stuff coming. I have more videos, more Platinum videos, more Platinum Experience videos. They are on their way. I promise you. But what better way to kick off this comeback than to force myself through Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Oh my god, this game has just haunted me for I think well over 3 years, but we finally got it. We finished it, we got the platinum, and I'm here today to tell you my story. So, without further ado, grab some Wumper Fruit, buckle those seatbelts, and start your engines as we go through the Platinum Experience for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I've been a huge fan of the staple names for PlayStation for many years. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are just two among the long list of those. My first experience with the original Crash Team Racing was all the way back in 1999 in the form of a multi-game demo disc that Pizza Hut gave out to kids. Yep, you heard that right. Pizza Hut gave out game demos.
That's right. Back in my day, the only way we could play new games was from game demos.
Yeah. I'm old. Now this not only fueled my love for Crash Bandicoot, but it opened my eyes to the different game types that the world had to offer. Now, the trophy list for this game can be split into 3 simple categories. Category 1, story-related trophies, where you simply just play through the game and get 100%, and yes, you will have to play on hard mode. Category 2 are miscellaneous trophies, where you do simple things like find shortcuts in each track, where you drift so many times in a single race, and a few other things. And finally, Category 3, everyone's favorite, time trials. Now at a first glance, this trophy list really didn't seem all that hard. Finish a few races, do a few time trials, and what do you know, get some collectibles. But boy was I wrong. Fun fact, I started playing this game at launch and quit when I couldn't beat the first hard mode race after about 6 or 7 tries. Yeah, safe to say I was in for a lot more than what I bargained for. So at this point in time, this game has haunted me since about 2019, and I was back on the PS4. And, funnily enough, I didn't back up my save to the cloud. I know, I suck. So, once I re-downloaded the game, the obvious first thing was to play through the story mode again. But, this time, I started on easy. That way, I can get used to the controls again, and I can get the 100% completion, as well as a few other things. So, while I was playing through the story, I was able to get all of the collectible trophies associated with this game. The CTR races, where you have to collect the letters C, T, and R on each level, all of the colored gems, and finally, the relic races, where you only need to achieve the Sapphire relic in these to get the platinum. I was also able to get a bunch of the miscellaneous trophies, either related to specific track shortcuts, maintaining your boost for an entire lap, and many more. So, with easy mode out of the way and our save file up to 100%, I was able to go back and get a few more of those pesky miscellaneous trophies that I mentioned earlier, just ones that I had missed along the way. I will say that these weren't too bad, and they made the game pretty enjoyable. They added just enough of a twist to the game. It kept my interest peaked. Now, at this point, I could go one of a few directions. I could either go for those pesky crystal challenges, I could start the unending grind known as the time trials, or start tackling the hard mode. In the end, I decided to go for the least rage-inducing choice of the three, the crystal challenges. Now, what makes these crystal challenges so difficult sometimes is not only the map layout, but the crystal hitboxes are so janky, it actually feels like the game is cheating. Seriously? Are you effing serious right now? Sometimes you can just go buy them and they'll give it to you, but sometimes they won't. Now, if you couldn't tell, this was one part of the game that really had me ready to quit. But we finally got the trophy for the crystal challenges, and we can move on to hard mode. Here I was, back to the point to where I quit the last time. Honestly, this had the potential to be my hardest challenge yet, and I've played Dark Souls, so that's saying something. But there was no quitting this time. I had to get this platinum. Now, I will admit that I struggled a lot starting out, but after a while, I started to figure out that there were optimal routes and ways to maintain my boost better for every track. I won't lie, it felt good to actually get better at this game. Once the first track was out of the way, the rest of them eventually started to follow suit. Well, most of them did. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Oh, thank god. Yeah. Needless to say, Dragon Mines was my least favorite map in this entire game. I ended up doing a bunch of research on how to get better at the game, from shortcuts to keeping my boost through hopping around tighter turns, and I even resorted to watching the pros at this game so I could learn all the perfect lines for each track. And after we did that, we prevailed. We beat Dragon Mines. Now, as we all know, each section of the story mode ends with a boss race that really puts your skills to the test. So I needed to have a good handle on all the mechanics for this game. Now, each of these bosses are villains from past Crash Bandicoot games, or maybe side characters that you really never got to interact with, such as Ripperoo, Papu Papu, Komodo Joe, Pinstripe Potoroo, and Nitrous Oxide. Needless to say, these boss battles are anything but your normal kart race. For each boss, they throw their own variation of traps and projectiles to help slow you down and hinder your progress. So, when it came down to it, all of my research, practice, and all of my patience lost, I was able to make it to the final boss race against Nitrous Oxide. Now, up until this point, all of the boss battles were tough, but they had nothing on this cheating slug. The race begins with Oxide starting about a second or two early, which means you already have to play catch up. Needless to say, I struggled an ungodly amount with this race. Between all of the items he throws at you, the track difficulty, and just my lack of skill, I was ready to give in. No, not this time. I'm going to beat this slug and earn my place among the fast, and dare I say, the furious. So after hours of trying this final boss race, losing my patience and my mind, quite frankly, I was finally able to defeat Oxide at his own game. And now, with hard mode finally out of the way, I only had one thing standing in between me and that glorious platinum. That's right, you guessed it. Time trials. Just when I thought I had completed one of the hardest parts of this game, it threw one last curveball at me. I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't be a Crash Bandicoot game if it didn't involve time trials. At this point in the game, I was more determined than ever to add this platinum to my trophy room. I wasn't going to let a few time trials get in my way. Unfortunately, for these time trials, you need to go through all of the maps, again, that you did in career mode, plus a few maps from the original games back in the day, as well as a few maps that you may have not seen before. For each map, you'll need to drive 3 laps fast enough to set a time to what the time trial ghosts deem worthy enough to compete against you with. And wouldn't you know it, these 2 ghosts that you need to beat are both Oxide and Entropy. Thankfully, since I had been practicing and watching some of the pros online, I was more prepared than ever to add this daunting platinum to my trophy room. So for each track, the order is as follows. Set a base time quick enough that the first ghost appears, beat the Entropy ghosts, and finally beat the Oxide ghosts and get your trophies. That in itself is a lot of racing per track, but I wasn't about to let a little grind stop me from completing my goal. So after what felt like hundreds of hours, even more laps completed, and all but one track finished, this happened. Go ahead, baby. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You kept the blue. Let's go, baby. Oh, that's beautiful. Platinum trophy, come on. No, I failed. I failed. Come on, it's okay. Oh, my heart is beating right now. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, baby. No. No! No. Go! Go! Go, you little penguin! Go, you little penguin! Yes! Slug! Give it to me! Yes! Let's go! That's right. I had done the unthinkable. I had finally earned the platinum for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. This was a feat that I had all but given up on. A platinum I thought was lost in the vast reaches of my gaming backlog. It was finally here. I finally could add this game to my collection. As I sat back and relished in my victory, something dawned on me. Like I had accomplished this rigorous task, but I still felt empty. Like I was still missing something. It almost felt like something was watching me from a dark corner in the room. Almost like something was unfinished. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. Suggest what game you want to see me platinum next, and I promise it won't take a year to do. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then. Peace.